Kyoto, one of Japan's top tourist sites. As the number of foreign tourists increases every year, visitors have been voicing a certain concern.
Have you been able to take a reservation of the hotel?
Yes, in March. I reserved in March.
Because of a shortage of accommodations, many people who want to stay in Kyoto are unable to. At the same time, this man says he's staying not at a hotel or inn.
Yes. We go in a guest house.
Oh, guest house?
Yes.
Accommodations referred to as guest houses are said to be gaining popularity in Kyoto now. We visited one of them.
This is the property.
Stepping inside, there's a garden immediately to the left.
It's made of glass and designed so that you can see into the living room, and you can see out onto the garden. Please come in.
Yadoru Kyoto Washi no Yato opened in July this year. It's a renovated traditional Kyoto townhouse built in 1914, and the entire property is rented out as a guest house.
It has a washing machine so that people can live here as if it's their home. Also, the toaster is a brand called Bermuda.
And going up the steep staircase, there's a spacious loft.
This place used to be the roof area long ago. We got rid of it and rebuilt it so that the roof is higher and it feels more spacious.
4 people can stay here at a time, and the price is 40,000 to 50,000 yen a night. They say 80% of the guests are from overseas, and that it's especially popular among Chinese visitors. Washi no Yato is operated by Tomaruba. Mr. Yamada says there's been a sharp rise in the number of traditional Kyoto townhouses being renovated into lodging facilities.
It's really increased. When you look at properties under construction, about 90% are lodging facilities.
This property company in Tokyo also started handling Kyoto townhouses from a year ago. But
we get about 50 to 100 inquiries a month. Right now, only about 2. Banks won't provide financing, so it's difficult closing deals.
many Kyoto townhouses are more than 100 years old, and they have almost no value as collateral. For that reason, banks will not provide financing, and many people who want to buy them can't. So some companies have launched new schemes. This is a finance-related entrepreneurial venture called Crowd Realty. This June, it started the Kyoto Townhouse Revival Project. It raises funds from individual investors to pay for the purchase cost of Kyoto townhouses and the cost of renovating them into guest houses. Tomaruba is entrusted with operations after they open. After 3 years, the properties are sold to other companies. Crowd Realty plans to provide returns to the individual investors from the profits made during operations and sale of the properties. The president, Takeshi Kito, previously worked at a securities firm. He says he wants to expand the possibilities for fundraising that doesn't rely on financial institutions.
Depending on how you do it, you can generate solid cash flow, so we want to properly evaluate them.
The projected yield is about 10% annually. It's a high rate, although there's still a risk of losing the investment principal. In 3 weeks, they raised 72 million yen. They say more than half of the investors were in their 20s to 30s. Ryo Noguchi runs a medical-related company. He invested several 100,000 yen.
It's relatively visible. It's real estate, so I know it's there. There's certainly the possibility of losing the investment principal, but I feel you can get a commensurate return.
A townhouse that Crowd Realty acquired is in Higashiyama Ward, Kyoto.
This is it.
This property is over 100 years old. It was left vacant for some time. Can it really be turned into a guest house that generates income? Arriving on the scene is...
Hello. Hello.
It's Mr. Yamada from Tomaruba, and Kenichiro Nakamoto, who's in charge of the renovation. Mr. Nakamoto uses a blueprint to explain his ideas about the renovation.
You said you wanted to somehow incorporate a spacious garden, so right now I'm thinking about linking the living room and the garden. Everything could be like a wooden deck. The living room could extend outside with the wood, and 5 people could relax here, and 5 more on the other side.
The plan is to get rid of the wall separating the living room and room with the earthen floor and connect them to the garden to create an open space. The renovation work is scheduled to begin by the year end, and they will report on the progress to investors at every step.
We need to protect the profits of investors, so we want to properly stick to the budget and schedule, and start operations in the way we envision.
Mr. Yamada of Tomaruba, which has been put in charge of operations, takes Mr. Kito to a certain place.
Please, please.
It's Washi no Yato.
Sales for August alone have already exceeded 1 million yen, and we're fully booked until about the 25th. How about reservations from September? Of course, all the way to the autumn leaf viewing season in November.
Washi no Yato was also once a dilapidated Kyoto townhouse. The loft seen earlier also took advantage of the open space in the attic area.
This is actually the first time I've come here, and I'm really starting to be able to imagine that our property can look like this as well. We'll try our best to make something like this or even better. Thank you.
The Kyoto Townhouse Revival Project has gotten underway, carrying the hopes of the individual investors. Preparations are steadily being made with the aim of opening the guest house next spring.